Hi, I'm host Eric, host Talking with Famous People, and I want to talk this evening in this video about this audio thing that I listened to this morning, which is basically telling you how to make people like you, okay? That's what this is about, how to make people like you.
How annoying it is to spend 5 minutes with a person who's always finding fault with everything and everyone. People seem to drain the life right out of you. Being a person who makes people feel good will go a long way toward their finding you quite likable.
Long way, guys. That's going to help a lot.
Just as we tend to like someone who shares our interests, we are also unconsciously driven to like a person when she appears as we do. This means that when someone makes gestures the way we do, or uses words or phrases as we do, we tend to find him likable. In this way, you're building rapport. Here are 2 powerful tips for establishing rapport. First, match posture and movements. For instance, if someone has one hand in his pocket, you put your hand in yours. If he makes a gesture with his hand, after a moment and without being obvious, you casually make the same gesture. Another way to build rapport is to match speech. Try to match his rate of speech. If he's speaking in a slow, relaxed tone, you do the same. If he's speaking quickly, then you begin to speak more rapidly.
Okay, so those 2 parts are the parts that I wanted to talk about. I was happy to be able to find them so easily and not to struggle to find them. That's exactly the 2 parts I wanted to talk about there. I don't know what others make of it. I find it a little creepy. This idea that you would be consciously saying to yourself, okay, I see he's got his hand in his pocket. I'll put my hand in my pocket now to make him feel more comfortable. And that way he'll like me more. Which is one of the things that's suggested in that audio thing that we were just listening to. I hope you guys could hear it. Another thing that was suggested is this matching of paces of speech. So my question basically listening to this is I can understand how people who struggle with being likable might want advice on that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I can also understand how there might be an objection that says people aren't behaving authentically if they're just imitating somebody else to get that somebody else to like them rather than being themselves in a way that is authentic, right? So I wonder if anybody in the room has any willingness or willingness to say or thoughts about that thing I just said, that stuff I just described, or the thing we just listened to.
The INTJ take on it. I can't quote, but Ayn Rand said, "White lies make you the slave of the person you're lying to, because then you're obligated to pretend that way from then on."
That's a great observation. I love that. JC, can you shine your extroverted light into this room of introverts with some commentary?
I agree with QB Sauce. I think it's like, it's TE kind of trying to replicate FE. Like, I think that's, like, a lot of stuff of what the guy was talking about is stuff that FE Dom people kind of do without thinking about it. And so, I think...
Go ahead, sorry.
I think, like, TE kind of, might want to pick up on, like, that practical stuff just so that they kind of can be more efficient in their environment and dealing with people. And that's, like, guys like that come from in general.
Well, you know, and I think that it's an important point there that you just made between those who naturally deal with extrovert feeling and those who have to come about it through some sort of understanding methodology. So I don't necessarily naturally deal with it well, but I do fully get it. Like, I frame things through that anyway, so I may or may not be more or less successful at it. Okay, so how about you, Yubi? Any thoughts from you?
I joined too late. Like, I just joined, so honestly, I'm trying to catch up on what you guys are talking about.
Okay, well, we're talking about this thing I heard, this little audio thing that basically said, here's how you like people. Here's how you get people to like you. If somebody's standing and they're talking, they've got one hand in their pocket, unobtrusively, without being obvious about it, after a little while, you put one hand in your pocket to make yourself look like them and stuff. Let's just start with just that one concept. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't necessarily like the exact mirroring of body positions like that, but I mean, I can understand, somewhat mirroring someone. But I don't know. I wouldn't do it with the intention of trying to get them to like me. That's kind of manipulative, but I would do it more to just ease the social situation, or try to make them, or just try to let them know that.
Let's stop. Let me pause you where you are there, because I like that train of thought that you went down about the intention. Why do you think it matters so much what the intention of your doing it is? You say you wouldn't try to do that to get them to like you. Well, what if you had trouble being liked? That people didn't like you, and you were trying to get people to like you because that's something you wanted to try.
Well,
Would that change
it? Yeah, because I think with people, I feel like people subconsciously can sense inauthenticity. Like, if you're trying to get people to like you, it honestly, I think a lot of the time annoys people, or they can kind of feel that, like you're trying too hard. Rather than if you were just genuine.
Wouldn't that be just doing it badly? I mean, would you be able to distinguish between somebody faking it really well and somebody doing it authentically? If they faked it so well that you wouldn't notice it?
I feel like I can, but I don't feel, it's not a visual thing for me. It's a feeling thing, like kind of an empathic thing to me. That's at least how I experience it. I feel when their feelings and intentions are not real, but it's all feeling to me.
But wouldn't it be the case, though, that definitionally you wouldn't feel it if somebody successfully faked you out?
No, because you can't hide. A feeling is information. Your true intentions are there, and that is information. People think that it's only that it's hidden in them, if I don't make my intentions known, I can hide it. I don't believe that at all. I believe that your feelings are pushed out whether you want them to or not. Just so whether you express it in that way or not, the feelings are
Yubi, would you agree with Kit Kat's portrayal of it as after a while there'll be cracks and slips in the act?
Yes. Oh yeah, I do. There will just be some sign.
Because what I was going to point out is that there's a little bit of a distinction here. With Kit Kat, he or she is saying that there's a time frame aspect that has to be factored in, and what you were telling me is there's sort of an intuitive knowledge of it. Okay, so
that's the way I would experience it.
I'm not trying to say one is right or wrong. I'm trying to point out just a distinction in how you guys are interpreting it. Anybody else want to chime in on this topic here before I ask Yubi to continue? I want to make sure I get other voices if they want to chime in. JC, you got any thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yubi, you were saying you want to continue on that train of thought if you haven't lost it, or any other train of thought?
It's gone.
Okay. Well, that's what I get for interrupting you. I cost you a train of thought. I have to buy you a new train ticket.
There will be so many more.
Okay, good. All right, so thank you for watching Talking with Famous People, and that's my thoughts on that subject and our thoughts on that subject, which was about authenticity and something else.